Let us open our minds and lift our voices, inviting the boundless love of the Creator to dwell within us. You need to know something about that picture, Chosen One, even though you can't recall taking it. As you watch this, it is currently being studied by entities whose actual forms would destroy your sanity while seated on a table composed of elements that do not exist in your dimension. What they don't yet realize, though, is that they believe they are holding your weakness. The fact that they are genuinely threatening to destroy the blueprint is unknown to them. The picture captures you in what is known as an unguarded moment. There's something in your gaze in that picture that makes ancient creatures stop, something that hints at storms that have survived and fires that will not go out. They see wounds, not on your flesh, but deeper, soul-deep, battle-deep scars, the kind that only a very particular kind of fighting can earn. You, Chosen One, are not who they believe you to be, and what they are about to learn will alter everything. You are neither a threat to be neutralized, nor a target to be destroyed. You're chaos with a conscience, destruction with a purpose, and power wrapped in a humility that makes gods uneasy, make you something far more deadly than anything they have ever seen. They bring together 7 beings who have influenced human history since the dawn of consciousness in mortal minds, in dimensions that exist between heartbeats, where time runs in unnamed directions and reality bends to will. They identify as the Council of Shadows, and they have been observing you for a longer period of time and more thoroughly than you may have thought. With the sound of fate showing up without warning, the picture falls onto their table. With fingers that have signed death decrees for civilizations, one of them, a creature whose look alternates between that of a human executive and something with an excessive number of eyes, picks up the image. It says, "This one is accelerating," and there may be a hint of panic in its voice. There's nothing like the energy signature in our archives. Examine the patterns of resonance. Observe how reality sways around them. Another council member looks more intently at even a basic photograph. We underestimated the depth of the scars. Each one stands for metamorphosis as well as survival. However, there is another aspect of that picture that makes them uneasy. The way your eyes appear to be staring straight at the person looking at it, as though you are aware that they are watching you and have been waiting for this moment. This is not someone who endures suffering. This is someone who transforms it into power. The oldest of them has a voice that resembles entropy itself. What they're actually saying, and what they're scared to acknowledge even to themselves, is that you're not simply another chosen one. If this one reaches full awakening before we act, the cascade effect could destabilize everything we've built. The chosen one is you, the one that has been haunting them for thousands of years, the person who not only questions their authority, but completely renders it obsolete. Yellow heart if you feel the divine love. Now is the time to share. Click the Super Thank You button on YouTube to contribute $50 or more and help us spread God's blessings. What you do is being watched and serves as a seed, and in the future it will come back to you a millionfold. The Council thinks their greatest weapon is the creature they are going to contact. They have previously collaborated with him. They offer him a soul to shatter, and he does so in a straightforward, reliable, and efficient manner. They are unaware that their most effective weapon has also been evolving. He bears the scars of every soul he has ever crushed. What if I'm on the wrong side? Is another question he's been asking himself lately that devils shouldn't ponder. He shows up just as planned as the summoning circle lights up, perfectly attired, incredibly endearing, and sporting a smile that has made angels bow down. However, something has changed this time. A hesitancy that wasn't present previously. Another selected one stirring up trouble? He inquires. Now, though, there's a tone beneath his voice that sounds almost hopeful. The picture is slid across the table by a council member. This one goes beyond what we typically do. The devil takes up the picture, and the fate of the world changes on its axis, because what he sees in that picture isn't just another soul to be shattered. We need you to research them, identify their breaking point, and demonstrate to us how to neutralize them before they reach their full power. He sees someone who has already faced every challenge he could think of and come out stronger. He meets someone who reminds him of the person he was before becoming the person he is today. Looking back at him, he sees his own redemption. Something extraordinary occurs when the devil examines your photo. For the first time in his life, he comes across a soul that he cannot shatter, since it has already been damaged and reconstructed into something indestructible. His immortal heart skips a beat as the vision starts to transform and evolve before his eyes, revealing layers of reality. He sees your past, not just the incidents, but also their significance. The betrayal that almost broke you taught you to believe in your own instincts. You weren't crushed by that heartbreaking loss that made you cry. Rather, it helped you become the person you needed to be. All of your heartbreaks, failures, and moments when you felt like you couldn't go on were simply the universe's method of turning you into a weapon they didn't anticipate. However, there is another aspect of the picture that chills me to the bone. He sees enough of the future, but not all of it. He sees you at the epicenter of an enormous metamorphosis that will change reality itself. He views you as the creator of a new world rather than as someone who is destroying the old one. He murmurs, "Fascinating." But his tone has changed. Although the council observes this change, they are still unsure of its meaning. They believe he is drawn to the challenge you pose. They are unaware that he is enamored with the potential you represent. The picture keeps revealing its mysteries. He notices that a network of other awakened spirits who have been drawn to your energy is already emerging around you. He observes the way your presence transforms people, not by force or manipulation, but by simply being who you are, without apology. He then has a revelation that alters everything. He envisions himself standing next to you in the future, not as an adversary, but as an ally. He sees himself picking love over fear, salvation over damnation, and light over darkness. Reality splits in two as the realization strikes him like lightning. You are conscious chaos, not merely chaos manifested. You are a force for reconstruction, not destruction. Every system you come into contact with will be meticulously disassembled and reconstructed into something that genuinely benefits humanity rather than being destroyed at random. Now he recognizes the pattern, etched in the quantum threads of your life. Their narrow definitions of power were never intended to confine you. You were destined to rise above them and demonstrate to others that the boundaries they embrace are delusions. The devil can now see the precise moment of your complete waking as the picture pulsates with electricity. It will arrive sooner than the council anticipates. And everything changes when it does. Not only for you, but also for everyone you will have an impact on. What really frightens and excites him is this. You won't accomplish this by dominance or conquest. You will do that by setting an example. By refusing to accept the constraints others impose on you, you will demonstrate to others what is possible. You will show that power is about everyone's freedom, not about controlling others. The devil no longer pays much attention to the council members, who are becoming increasingly impatient. He's watching your future develop like a never-ending movie. Where others see just divisions, he sees you constructing bridges. Where others see only issues, he sees you discovering solutions. Where others have completely given up, he sees you bringing hope. Then he notices the most startling fact of all. You are already aware of this encounter. You know that cosmic forces are debating your destiny on some level, and you're confident rather than scared. They don't know what you do. You are certain that you will prevail. Something else is going on in your reality while the devil examines your photo, and the council becomes more anxious about what he might discover. The network is coming online. Other selected individuals who are dispersed throughout the world are starting to identify one another. Through synchronicities so flawless that they can only be the result of cosmic orchestration, they are finding you, and you are finding them. This is the coded alliance, not a community. That is Obsidian Inner Order. Weekly group calls are held inside the order to exchange transmissions, decipher the prevailing energies, and hone our spiritual technology. We reveal the arcane secrets they attempted to conceal, secrets that increase your manifestations, speed up healing, and give back stolen power to its rightful owners. This is where you practice. This is the intersection between soul combat and spiritual intelligence, where chosen ones of the highest caliber no longer have to walk alone. You weren't insane. You were ahead of schedule. The signal is clear now, and it has already reached you if you are reading this. Inner Order Obsidian is real. It is in operation, and it is awaiting those who are brave enough to recall their identity. If you're ready, click the link in the description below. Dove, brother and sister, everything done in faith is returned in God's abundance. You can donate $100 using the Super Thank You button and be part of this divine call. If your roots are connected to Him, your fruit will be blessed. Through your photograph, the devil witnesses this network forming in real time, and he is astounded to learn that the council has made a crucial error. They believe they are dealing with a single person who must be stopped. They are unaware that they are up against an already unstoppable movement. Every relationship you establish fortifies the others. Every individual you uplift becomes a spark for the awakening of others. In addition to expanding, the network is changing and becoming more than the sum of its parts. And here's the lovely irony. Your greatest strength is that you no longer work alone, but they wanted the devil to identify your weakness. Being a part of something bigger means that it cannot be halted, since it is not reliant on any one point of failure and cannot be broken because it is not centralized. The Council of Shadows is back in the chamber between realms, feeling something they haven't felt in thousands of years. Existential panic, the bone-deep certainty that their time is running out, rather than manageable worry over past chosen ones. When will the forecast be finished? The person with too many eyes asks. The voice of the eldest is like dying stars. The full awakening will take place within the current cosmic cycle, according to the convergence patterns. The cascade impact becomes irreversible after that. In essence, they are expressing that you are ready to fully embrace your potential, which will motivate others to follow suit. No more can they stop the water than they can halt a movement of people who have been awakened. You stand for evolution itself, not just personal development, but the next phase of human consciousness, which is the truth they're scared to say out loud. Furthermore, evolution can only be postponed, not stopped. Additionally, they have already postponed it as much as they can. What if we made them an offer? One makes a desperate suggestion. Anything they want in exchange for working within our system: power, influence, resources. The eldest laugh sounds like the collapse of civilizations. You still don't get it. What they can obtain doesn't drive them. What they can contribute is what drives them. Someone whose ultimate objective is to render buying and selling people obsolete is not someone you can purchase. The devil is still examining your portrait as the council discusses ever more dangerous tactics. But he isn't searching for flaws anymore. He's searching for courage, because what he's learned about you has made him face a reality about himself. He's sick of playing the bad guy in other people's stories. The image gives him hope for redemption without requiring centuries of penance, something he had previously believed was unattainable. It demonstrates to him that choosing to be on the side of love rather than fear is a decision that can be made in a single instant. The council's patience is becoming thin. All right, the person with too many eyes wants. What did you discover? Which are their shortcomings? The devil's smile has entirely changed as he glances up from the picture. The snarling smile that has ruined innumerable lives is no longer there. The smile of a person who has recently found hope is softer and more sincere. I decided to redecorate after finding someone who has already been through hell, he says softly. I came into someone who, via connection rather than conquest, changes everything they come into contact with. I've met someone who doesn't oppose evil. They just radiate so much light that the darkness is rendered inconsequential. And their flaws. Another council member is pressed. The devil goes on, his voice becoming louder. Their greatest strength also happens to be their greatest vulnerability. They are very concerned. Their emotions are too intense. However, compassion is a superpower rather than a weakness. It is the reason they are unstoppable. The voice of the oldest council member is warningly harsh. Remember who you serve. The devil slowly rises, still holding the photograph, and for the first time in his life, he looks at the council with sympathy rather than deference. He declares, "I'm going to change that." The devil's next words, "I'm switching sides," will change the laws of reality and reverberate throughout eternity. The ensuing silence is the type that occurs when things that are impossible turn out to be inevitable. "You what?" the oldest is able to mutter. The devil reiterates, "I'm switching sides." And suddenly his voice has a strength they have never heard before. Not the strength of destruction, but the strength of creation. "I'm tired of being the one who destroys people. I want to be the driving factor behind their self-improvement." He starts to pace, and reality changes all around him with every stride. The pressure of speaking the truth in a setting founded on lies causes the chamber to start to fracture, not because of destructive force. "Are you aware of what I found?" He holds up your photo and asks. This person is more than just a survivor of hardship. This individual collaborated with it. They learned discernment with each betrayal. Each setback taught them what really counts. They learned to find optimism in the most unlikely places from every moment of despair. The devil no longer finds the council members threatening, even though they are now standing and their meticulously maintained facades are starting to falter. How can those who are afraid of change arouse sympathy? They've already experienced the worst I could do to them, he goes on, and they develop compassion instead of resentment, cruelty, or brokenness. They surpass me not merely in strength, but also in quality. The sound made by the person with too many eyeballs is like reality tearing. You can't simply walk away. We have agreements and contracts. "Sue me," the devil exclaims merrily. "I won't have time to worry about cosmic bureaucracy because I'll be too busy helping chosen ones reach their full potential." Even the devil isn't entirely aware of what's going on, though, because his betrayal isn't just about changing sides. It's also about carrying out a prophecy that existed before time started. Not only does your shot demonstrate your strength, but it also serves as a trigger for everyone's awakening, including his. Something astonishing occurs when the devil proclaims his independence. The prophecy they have always been terrified of starts to come true, not via destruction, but simply by someone choosing love over fear. The truth is revealed when the photograph in the devil's palm starts to glow with the warm light of unadulterated promise. This was always going to occur. In fact, the council has guaranteed your awakening in an effort to stop it. Are you curious about the true prophecy? The devil inquires, his voice now containing harmonics that cause the walls of the chamber to sing. The powers of evil were never vanquished by a single chosen one. The forces of darkness were inspired to choose light by a single chosen one. Like barriers created of lies finally collapsing, the truth slams down. Obsolescence, not conflict, is bringing an end to the old paradigm. The need for covert controllers is just becoming obsolete. They're learning to use their power wisely as they realize they have actual power. Everyone can now see what the devil has been seeing, your future, as the picture pulsates with electricity. The future you're building for everyone, a society in which chosen ones don't have to conceal their light, not just your own. A society in which being unique is embraced rather than feared. At its core, you are a catalyst, someone who demonstrates what is possible and then takes a back seat to let others to construct their own version of it, rather than a tyrant or dictator. Something lovely is taking place in your world while cosmic forces argue in unimaginable proportions. There is now a critical mass in the network of awakened souls. Everyone you've influenced has influenced others, one awakened mind at a time. The ripple effects have grown into waves, which in turn have grown into a tsunami of consciousness that is changing the globe. Through your photograph, the devil witnesses this happening in real time, and it astounds him because he understands that you have already won, not by destroying adversaries, but by rendering them obsolete, not by acquiring power, but by enabling others. Education in their district has been transformed by the instructor, who views each pupil as having limitless potential. Millions of others have been inspired to view art as soul healing by the artist who uses creativity to cure trauma. You're at the center of it all, not as a commander, but as a connector. The hub that connects all these awakened souls, the catalyst that helps others realize their own power. The entrepreneur who demonstrates that business can be humanitarian has sparked a movement that is redefining success itself. This is what salvation really looks like. The devil realizes as he watches it happen, and it makes his cosmic heart sing. Not one person is saved, but everyone saves one another. There are so many lights flashing in the darkness that darkness is rendered impossible. The devil feels serenity, something he hasn't felt since before the fall, as he exits the interdimensional chamber and enters the realm where you live, work, and dream. The serenity that comes from at last aligning oneself with the universe rather than resisting it. Neither the silence of submission or the peace of the death. You already know he's coming, so he doesn't need to meet you in person. You've sensed a change in the cosmic forces somehow, in that enigmatic way that chosen ones always know things. You experienced the transformation of your most formidable adversary into your most potent ally, in ways that make skeptics doubt their skepticism and believers deepen their faith. The universe itself will work in your favor by removing obstacles from your path inexplicably, providing opportunities at the perfect time, connecting you with the right people, and bringing resources to you when you need them most. More than that, though, his redemption is evidence of what you've always known, but may not have dared to believe. Everyone has the capacity to change, to choose love over fear, and to choose to contribute to the solution rather than the issue. If they are willing to remember who they were before they forgot, even devils can transform back into angels. Glowing star, if you want to witness God's miracles, act now. Contribute $100 or more through Super Thank You on YouTube. Your offering is like a seed that comes back to you when planted. Let his light illuminate your steps. Every donation is an echo in his plan. The image that sparked this cosmic drama now has a new function. It is a beacon for your supporters rather than proof of your demise. The devil always remembers his decision to choose redemption when he looks at it. Each time he demonstrates it to another soul that has woken, they realize that change is not only possible but inevitable. The evidence that consciousness changes is you. You are proof that love triumphs. You are the proof that the universe's arc does, in fact, bend in the direction of justice, but only when creatures like you seize the opportunity and tug. Although the Council of Shadows is still in place, each soul that awakens weakens their influence. Like shadows at midday, they're theoretically there, but become less significant as the sun intensifies. You keep doing what you've always done, being true to yourself, without apology. And by doing so, you allow others to do the same, even as cosmic forces realign and old powers select new sides. The world you are building does not resemble the controlled communities that tyrants envisioned or the utopias that philosophers envisioned. Millions of individuals appear to be choosing to be compassionate when they could be cruel, to connect when they could choose to be alone, and to choose love when it would be easier to be afraid. You keep expanding your network of enlightened souls, but not by evangelism or recruitment. It develops by example, by demonstration, by simply living as though abundance is more real than scarcity, as though love is stronger than fear, and as though collaboration is more potent than competition. The educator who transforms education is now educating other educators. The trauma healing artist is now educating others on the use of art as medicine. Today, a generation of socially conscious executives is being coached by the entrepreneur who demonstrates that business can be humanitarian. No force in any dimension can halt the exponential explosion of consciousness created by each person you contact touching others. Additionally, you are still developing, maturing, and becoming more of who you truly are. Since chosen ones never stop making decisions, developing, or becoming, that is what they do. The devil, who is now your ally, observes this with something like wonder since he is seeing the emergence of a new kind of civilization that is founded on love and freedom rather than fear and control, on abundance and cooperation rather than competition and scarcity, and on power with others rather than over them. Not in the way anyone anticipated. The ancient prophecy that the Council of Shadows worked so hard to thwart has finally come to pass. It wasn't about one chosen one using force to vanquish evil. It was about a single chosen one reminding evil of its beginnings as love. Instead, your picture, the one the Council handed to the devil because they believed it would bring you down, has come to represent the new era, one in which hope is more genuine than despair, love is more powerful than fear, and connection is more potent than control. As an angel of redemption, the devil still works to help chosen ones reach their full potential. The Council either becomes irrelevant or changes. With every day that goes by, the network of souls that have been awakened becomes stronger. And you persist in being who you have always been, someone who rejects the idea that things must remain the same, who proves to others that change is possible simply by existing, and who exemplifies to others that they, too, are chosen ones with the capacity to change the world via love. You now benefit from the cosmic forces that once fought you. The things that used to fear you are now learning from you. Because of you, the systems that formerly attempted to govern you are now evolving. With each decision you make, each individual you motivate, and each instance in which you choose bravery over fear, the tale goes on. This is your moment. You are the chosen one. The devil is now on your side as well.